welcome to another episode of Let's Chat About That. I'm Maureen, and it is so great to see you again. Today, I have a special guest with us. Her name is Tena Harris, and she is this magnificent, extraordinary artist. And oh my gosh, we had her on before. She did the flags and whatnot, but today we're going to talk to her as an author of a brand new book that she's just published. Hi, Tena. How are you today?
I am well, thank you.
So, I'm really excited about this. This year, I really wanted to focus on health, and one of the most important things I think is to be spiritually and mentally healthy, and your book falls right into that.
Oh, nice.
So, just to start out, tell everybody what the name of your book is.
It's called Journey into the Heart Palace.
And it has this beautiful, beautiful cover. Just absolutely beautiful. So, Tena, just before we start today, can you just tell people a little bit about yourself so we'll know who the author is?
Sure. Okay, so of course my name is Tena. I have 5 children altogether. They're all boys, and I have 6 grandchildren. 2 of those grandchildren are girls. So, except for my beautiful daughters-in-law, I have the 2 beautiful granddaughters too, and all of them. And I have one more grandchild on the way in June.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and plus I work and I write, and I keep busy as well outside of all the other things with family and activities, going to the gym, different things.
Yeah, of course, and congratulations on that, those grandbabies
Yes.
and the new one that's coming up.
Yes,
I'm still
so
waiting,
excited.
I'm still waiting. It's coming, it's coming.
Yeah.
So I did have the chance to read one of the versions of your book,
Okay.
and it looks like this journey, it started with a question. Can you tell us about that question and where did this end up taking you?
Yeah, so in my everyday journaling with the Lord, I, a lot of times start with a question to Him, and then just write down what He's answering, what He tells me. So this particular day, I just said, Lord, how do you want to increase my experience or enhance my experience? I can't remember the exact wording without looking, but with you, And then He, lo and behold, turned around and said, okay, I want to take you inside your own heart. And I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. And so I agreed, and so it was Jesus, literally, in my thought process, my mind. He took me by the hand, and we went through a door, and it's all in there. So I'll let anybody read it that wants to. But it is part of my my journaling experience.
Now, have you ever had an experience like that before, where you asked a question and He took you on a really, just a journey like that, a spiritual journey?
Oh yes. Within, like I say, the whole the morning I'd get up and get the routine going and sit down with my journal and and everything, and yeah, that's what I do. What do you want to show me today, or what do you? And one time He just started to. He took me to like a pavilion.
Oh, wow.
It seemed like, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty, very pretty with flowers, because I love flowers. And it started there where I would meet with Him in a comfortable place, like a place that I knew of, where I grew up. And then He said to me one day, I'm going to take you outside of this wooded area, because that's where it was. You're a princess. You're meant to be in heavenly places. You're seated with me in heavenly places, and there's going to be a throne. So then in this pavilion, what ended up to be this huge garden, almost like a national garden forest thing, it started there on this little pavilion with all the beautiful flowers and things, and He had a throne here, and I had my throne here, and we just sat there and chatted back and forth about things, and then we started to expand on this whole beautiful garden.
And I am a total witness to that, and you probably agree that comes with having a relationship, not just going to church and hearing the Word for 30 minutes or an hour, but actually spending time with Him in the Word and praying. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
In Jeremiah it says, call on me, seek my face, and I will show you great and wonderful things that you don't even know about.
Yeah.
That's that.
That's right.
It's like the
That's
secret
beautiful.
place, right?
That is beautiful. So now to your book, because I know everybody's eager to hear about that. Can you tell us, you kind of touched on it already, but can you tell us like the backdrop of it? What's happening in this book?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. So the book starts off with different days. This is a different version than the other
The
one
one I
over there,
have,
which
yeah.
we'll talk about a little bit later, I think. But it tells you different things that happen in each room, and it's not in each consecutive day. Like it might be one day, and then maybe a week later there'll be another room. So basically, when he said, "I'm going to show you inside your own heart," we went through a door. And it's in here, and it says that the door was really small, and the area was narrow. And that really right there even spoke to me about my own heart. It was small and narrow. Yeah. But once we started this journey, it just expanded to, like, then we passed by rooms, and some of them had padlocks on them. Some of them didn't. Some of them were, slightly open, but most of the time when he would show me a room, it would either have a padlock on it or it'd be closed, and he would ask my permission. That's the cool thing. This is, one time in there it says, this one is very difficult. It's going to be difficult, so what do you want to? So he's, such a gentleman. He always asks and makes sure you're okay before he reveals what he wants you to know.
Yeah, I did. I read this version of it, and I can say just from this edition, it is really an anointed piece of work. I really, I think people will really get a lot from it. But you mentioned two versions.
Yes.
This is a smaller one. That's a larger one. Outside of the sides, what's the difference between the two?
That's a great question, Maureen. So the difference is that having talked to some people very close to me, it became apparent that this could be better distributed or utilized with some more information they asked for. Like what happened, what was the like you said, the backstory to this room. What was, what caused that? And also some little journaling notes. Like, underneath each chapter I would ask a question, how did you feel about this? How did this impact you?
Now that's in the larger
one.
Okay,
The
the second
other version, the second edition.
Okay.
And then it's another, and the second portion of the journaling area is for them to have their own experience. Ask the Lord to show you what he needs to show you about that part of you.
Right.
Is there a part, And the second part, the last part in that is just further journaling, if you had anything more you wanted to journal about that.
Okay, so the journaling and more information. Awesome. So I just wanted people to have, I think they can appreciate it more if you could just read them a little excerpt from that.
Sure.
So we're going to have Tina to read us a little excerpt.
Okay. I'm going to read from this one chapter. I didn't really call them chapters, I call them rooms.
Yes.
So room 7 is gooey gunk. Okay, so it goes like this. In an unusual occurrence, the Lord gave me a vision of what I'd find in this room while at a home church gathering. We didn't speak of it right then. It was just visual. Once I asked him about it the next morning, he showed me the locked room, and then I said to Jesus, I had a feeling that this is in the center of it all, at the deepest, most inner parts of my heart. Can you tell me more about that, Jesus? And of course he said, yes, child, I will show you. We entered the room after unlocking the door, and inside was a sort of large basin, which pretty much looked like it filled up the whole room. Inside the basin was a black, gooey substance, like tar. It was swirling very slowly, if you can imagine, as if trying to go down a drain, but not making much progress. Jesus said, this is the result of years of neglect, abandonment, betrayal, and abuse. You suffered as a child and beyond. Each time you are feeling those emotions again, this is where the horrible feelings take you. So it's a very dark place, and it entraps you and keeps you stuck. As you well know, it's very difficult to get out of this place once you're here. Jesus, I said to Jesus, is there any hope of removing this gunk from here? And he said, yes, absolutely. In fact, the gunk has already begun to make its way down the drain, but because it is so deep and thick, it will take some time to completely dissipate. Lord, what do I do until that time? My love, when you begin to feel those feelings of being ignored, unwanted, or unseen, do not go to the murky mire of this dark place, but instead go to our beautiful garden place. I'll be there waiting for you. Run to me. Absolutely, Jesus. I love being with you in my garden. I'll do as you ask. And then this is the new additional text that I put in. So there was always someone needing more attention, a brother with severe epilepsy, a sister who was born hard of hearing, my mom always making sure that the volatile stepdad was kept happy or at least not angry. I was oftentimes left to my own devices, alone and lonely. I would play for hours by myself out in the woods or wherever I felt like going. I grew up on an 80-acre farm, so exploring became my favorite pastime. This is the substance of the room, in a manner of speaking. As an adult, I have struggled with abandonment issues. Neglect also is a fear in relationships. I have always claimed that invisibility is my superpower. I almost always feel invisible in a crowd. The rest of the neglect and sense of abandonment is so deep, or the result, rather, of the neglect and sense of abandonment was so deep that it takes a lot of time to heal. The Lord could do this with one word, but sometimes we need to allow other people to be part of that process. Trust. It is a hard one. And then it just goes on to ask the question.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So that it kind of explains like when we're triggered, like something happens. It might not even be the same exact situation that started the process, but it could be something similar that triggers it, and we go to that dark place.
Right.
And so God had to give you a way to cope with that and to eventually get to the other side of that.
Right.
Okay, yeah. I think we all can relate to that.
Good.
We all can. Yeah, that is totally different. It's not totally different, but there is additional good information in there.
Right.
So this journey, if I remember correctly, it started from January and it went on to April, almost like, 4 months? Was that like a 4-month journey?
Actually, it was much longer than that. It really continues. I'm still on the journey myself.
But in terms of the book?
The book, yeah. I think the last entry was around probably April.
Yeah.
That bit of it. Right.
Okay, so, and that lets people know too that it's not just a one, like you become a Christian, bam.
One and done.
I'm
right.
perfect, everything's okay. All that past trauma's gone, I got the best attitude, everything's perfect. It is a continual work.
Right.
And it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It is okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to pretend to be perfect, but I do have to be willing to submit if I want to get better, be the best version of myself.
Right.
So.
Right. Absolutely.
So when I was reading your book, it did remind me of like when people talk about how we can compartmentalize our faith and our walk. Can you speak on that a little bit? Like, is your book, there was one part where you said after you had gone through several doors that there were more open hallways, like a oneness that was there.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't so much as divided like it was initially.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, I think that when we're broken or traumatized or anything else, those little trauma places are compartmentalized. They're kind of like there's this here and there's this there. And unless we let someone in this case, Jesus was someone, to like help heal those places, they stay where they're at. We don't look at them. That's why they're behind closed doors, right?
Yes.
We don't want to look at them. We don't want to even think about them.
Lock the door.
And that's why Jesus said, let's do this. And then, yes, you're right. as this healing processes took place, the walls came down. So that's even, it's all very, what do you say? It's all like symbolic, right? Even some of the writing in there is very symbolic to the, this is a place where you get stuck in the goo. So that's why he showed me that as goo. And so the walls would come down, and then it was a more, and now my heart is a more open, free space, and I have room, a capacity for so much more love, and so much more life. Yeah.
So let me ask you, so in a practical world, what does it look like to be stuck? Like when we don't deal with those areas that are divided or closed off.
So what it looks like is trying to attempt the same thing over and over again, like getting, into the same situation and not finding a different result, not knowing how to manage that emotion or that situation anymore, because you're just stuck. You just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. But when Jesus speaks into any situation, the truth sets you free, and you're not stuck anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I've met people, sweet as can be, but when you try to get too close to them, that's when, and I'm not trying to be funny, but the barracuda comes.
Sure.
It's like,
prickly.
Yeah, like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I won't be so nice next time.
Oh.
But yeah, I think that's one of those other scenarios where it's not the person that's being nice, it's the maybe trust.
Right.
You've been betrayed or rejected, and you're like, no more. I'm closing that off. I'm not going to let you in.
Right. And isn't that sad? There are people out there who are worth getting to know. And that was me too. For so long, I just had a problem with people. I just didn't want to get close to people because of what you just said. And yet, on the other hand, there's so much more to that person than the prickliness, than the trauma,
it is. You're right.
than the issues that keep them at arm's length, so to speak, and keep the walls up.
Yeah. So I have an idea. Like when I pick up this book, I know that one of the sections in here, like I had explained to you, I was like, Lord, I thought I dealt with this. Oh my God, not again. I got to deal with it again. But what do you think? Why should people buy this book? What will they get from this when they open it up? What do you think they'll get?
I think they'll get healing and freedom, and also kind of learn that piece of, especially this one with the journaling, to get intimacy with the Lord. And once you start to learn how to get intimate with Jesus, with the Lord, and let him into these places, freedom and healing and
that's actually the beginning of deliverance, deliverance and getting on the other side. Because I think the enemy, he wouldn't want anything more than for us to be isolated and away from people and not being the best version of who we are, and being able to just give the love that's already been manufactured on the inside of us. We don't want to distribute what is so beautifully placed in the inside of us.
Right. The Bible also talks about loving ourselves.
Yeah.
Not in a really seriously self-centered way, but
you mean I can't be snooty and love myself?
It's probably best.
Oh my God.
Right. But in a way that I accept myself for who I am, and being okay, because then I can give that love to other people.
Yeah.
Because if I can't find love within myself, I don't feel lovable.
True.
And if I don't feel lovable, then I'm not going to be able to distribute love
That's
the
true.
way that we're supposed to. That's what the Bible tells us to do, right?
Yeah, it is.
Love. Yeah. Love at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, with him it's easy to love.
It is.
Without him it's like
Yeah, no. It's almost next to impossible.
So I'm gonna shift a little bit. You are you speak about these topics in your book. You have a class coming up?
Yeah, it's I would consider it a group discussion or a discussion group. because I don't feel like I'm teaching anything really. But it's coming in March, just next week, I want to say.
And where will this be?
It'll be at the church I belong to, Christ Community Church in Roseville.
In Roseville, C3.
Yeah, C3 in Roseville on Tuesday nights. I know this will probably not be, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. There are a good deal of people signed up.
Oh, excellent.
For this one, yep.
Excellent. So you also were on a podcast,
Oh,
right?
I
Where can
was.
people hear that?
So the podcaster, his name is Jacob Plant, and if you just Google him, you'll find his podcast. Also on Spotify, it can be found. I'm not sure where else, Apple Music or something like that. I think he has a few different places that he does,
Okay.
but I do know it can be found on Spotify.
Jacob Plant.
Jacob Plant with an E on the end.
As you venture out sharing this journey, what do you think are some of the challenges as you share your story? Have you come across any challenges, maybe people not receiving anything in a book, or it's hard for people to receive it, or anything like that? Have you come across something like that?
I can't say that I really have, Morine, to tell you the truth. If people just don't really buy into the spiritual journey that that is portrayed here, they haven't said, they haven't actually said so.
Okay.
So, so I don't have any real challenges. Like I said, with the first version, I had
Some questions.
yeah, I had some suggestions from again people close to me, and then I went ahead and revised it, and here we are.
Yeah, I have to buy that version. I'm going to buy that as soon as we get out of here. But let me ask you a question. I know you're speaking. You're a very good speaker.
Oh, thank you.
And there might be people out here that want you to come speak at their facility. How can they reach you?
Okay. I'm on Facebook, Tena Harris. But
With
also
an E, T-E-N-A.
T-E-N-A, Tena Harris. There, but also I have an email. If anybody wants to email me, it's my name, Tena, Tena .Harris @gmail. You can find me there. I have a telephone. I don't mind if anybody calls me. I just have to make sure that I'm receiving unknown calls.
Would it be better if they emailed you first,
Email,
or
it
reached
would
you
be
on
great.
Facebook first?
Perfect. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Facebook
So
too.
I just want to thank you. We're coming to a close. This has been an amazing experience.
Thank you.
I'm encouraging people to go out there and get that book. Can you say like a 30-second prayer for people that might be watching that?
Yes.
You know, they have that divided heart and they don't know where to start. Can you just say a prayer so we can start the process? for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Father God, thank you so much for this privilege to just come on your behalf. And I want to just pray for everybody out there that's listening and watching this telecast right now, God. Just reach into their heart and let them know that you're there, number one, and that you're ready, willing, and more than wanting to speak directly with each person, face to face. So open up the hearts of those listening, open up the hearts and minds of those who have questions, and thank you, Jesus, for what you're going to do through this very humble little book. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so much,
You're
Tina.
welcome.
I want to thank everyone for coming here today. This has been another episode of Let's Chat About That. I will be having a special guest, Abijah Perry, taking us out. I just want to thank all of you, sending much love, and until next time, bye-bye.
My eyes like the wind, kisses more. Didn't realize and then you disappear in the flash. We faded over and over again. In my mind, about 100,000,000 times. And maybe over